Hey everybody, welcome to Seahawk Talk. I'm Joe Stevens. This is Levi with Darwin's Raven. He comes on every week to talk all things NFL.
Thanks for
How was
having
your
me back,
weekend?
Joe. It was a good, productive weekend. We got a lot of stuff done. I'm excited for a lot of stuff here in Florida in the future. Let's say.
Oh yeah, and the weather's getting nicer here. So
Yeah, I've heard y'all have had some crazy weather out on the West Coast. How's that been?
oh no, it's been fine.
Really?
Especially last. I mean, it's just been windy. We live
Ah,
there. Coffee and rain is what we are. So
yeah, that's true. That everyone knows that Washington.
yeah,
Everyone knew that before Twilight.
I think coffee, rain, and defense. That's about it. Grunge
I
music.
love it. I love it.
But
But man, a
anyways,
lot's happened since the last we did this last week and even in free agency.
yeah, a lot has happened. It definitely cooled off a little bit, but I mean, most
Yep,
of the
yep.
names are off the board.
Yep,
I
there's
know.
still your boy Bobby's still sitting there.
Yeah, I think he's just testing it out.
Yeah.
Seeing the most he can get. Hopefully, he's back. We'll see.
Yep.
We signed Devin Bush. I don't know if did we
Yeah,
sign
I think
him?
that's I think y'all did. I'm pretty sure.
No, I
think
meant
Devin
did we
Bush-
sign him before last Monday? I don't think so.
I
So we
don't think
haven't
no.
signed
I
him
think that literally happened like that night
on
or the next
Friday.
day. I remember I wanted to send you a message about it. I was like, oh man, it's such a good signing.
Yeah, he's 24. I guess he's
Yeah.
been not great in Pittsburgh, but
He had that good year and then he kind of just
yeah,
but
it's a 1-year contract, just a prove it type deal. So
oh yeah, and he's got the potential, like speed and everything.
yeah, I look at it, he's 24. We're definitely getting younger. We signed a safety from New York too. Julian Love, I think his name is.
Oh yeah, Julian Love's a pretty solid actually.
And everybody in Seattle's kind of wondering what that means for Jamal Adams going forward because he is possibly the fourth worst safety on our team right now because we have Quandre Diggs, Ryan Neal, Jamal Adams, and Julian Love now.
I think Jamal Adams brings though like a different type. Like I think just for me, he like if I remember correctly, he just misses too many times throughout his career. Like
yeah, and his ball skills are probably the worst I've seen in NFL safety.
What's crazy is he used to be good at. He used to have some ball skills back in the day, like when he first got to the NFL. And
he played one game last year or half a game last year against the Broncos, and then he got hurt. He tore his knee up pretty good. But he took a ball to the face mask in the first quarter of that game, and that's
so hard to watch. Just bonk, bro.
He's done it multiple times here, and it's just like, dude.
That's one of those ones where I'm like, bro, do you need eye surgery? Like,
yeah, he might. I mean, it hits him in the face, but we'll see what they do. I know they'll save money if they cut him after June 1st. I kind of want him to, just because it would really make it the worst trade in Seahawks history if we cut him.
Talk about no ball skills. One of the wide receivers I got might be an honorable mention on the list today. Definitely lost all his ball skills after 1 year.
Who's that?
Braylon Edwards.
Oh,
do you remember old Braylon?
Yeah, he played for.
I think he's just going to be an honorable mention. He was on though, like when I was sitting there really looking at him. Like,
did you do players or moments?
I did players, but I tried to look up as many moments as I could, and then I have a lot of articles here saved.
See, I did mine just off the top of my head. Players, moments.
Oh no. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited to see the moments that you. Oh yeah. Man, that's gonna be a fun one. Have you seen the new trade rumor regarding Lamar Jackson?
No, I haven't. Enlighten me.
The new rumor is there's two going around. The new one I woke up to today. The new people in the race, the Vikings.
I heard a little something about that too. I didn't know whether to take it seriously or not.
I don't think it makes sense. Really, like number wise, they might be able to make it swing. But when I started looking at the Titans a little more, because the Titans have been mentioned a lot more recently, if they just cut Ryan Tannehill, they save like $10+ million this season right there. Like they could make it work probably. The Titans.
I just still can't believe that Atlanta's not hot and heavy over him. I really thought that would be the one team. It just seems like it would make the most sense.
Like, I expected to see more from Desmond Ridder, that quarterback they took out of Cincinnati. And I think he's played like the last 4 games really of the season, 6 maybe. Looked decent, but like not franchise worthy. Like
Not Lamar. No.
Exactly. I'm a little confused about how they're not more involved in this.
I think everybody's waiting until after the draft so they don't have to give up this year's pick on that offer sheet that the Ravens are probably going to have to. The Ravens are probably going to sign anyways because I think they just don't want to negotiate with them anymore. So.
And see, so that actually brings up kind of like the second rumor. Supposedly, it got leaked today that there's an unofficial agent for Lamar, which this happened with Roquan Smith, actually. And the NFLPA's like issued all these statements saying how, like, you're not allowed to do this kind of stuff, basically saying he's ready to move on from the Ravens and that he's not seeking a fully guaranteed deal and all this stuff. And yeah, I don't know, dude. It's got the Ravens trending again.
I just don't understand how this isn't the top story of the offseason,
I know, right? Like,
it seems like nobody's talking about it. I don't really understand.
I mean, like,
why.
they are, but
usually you'd see stuff like this on ESPN,
Yeah, like so apparently he's not seeking a fully guaranteed deal. He wants to move on. The NFL has specifically instructed teams not to negotiate with representative not certified by the NFLPA. Something like this happened last year with Roquan Smith, and that's how the NFLPA knew about it. So supposedly, he's ready to move on. I don't know. It's one of those ones. Lamar said he would play even if he got the franchise tag. He would sign and play. Mm-hmm. What if Lamar all of a sudden flips that and says, here's the deal. If you don't trade me and let them, take me for 2 firsts or work out a deal, I won't sign and play. And Lamar holds out on us, which is our worst case scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he thinks he has that type of leverage because he watched Deshaun sit for a year or 2, basically, and then get that mega deal.
Different scenario.
Literally. And that's what he's saying. He's like, yo, this guy had rape allegations. At least I don't have that. I got some knee problems, but
yeah, exactly.
I secretly too, I've said it before on my channel, that what if the Ravens brass said we only have one player that needs surgery in the offseason. It's awesome that only one player needs, but they refuse to talk about it at all. And I said, so there were stories that Lamar was literally limping around the practice facility in those final weeks where he wasn't playing in the games. There was, different stories. He could have played. He couldn't. When he tweeted the news of his injury, I looked it up. That's a borderline tear. Kind of like a lot of those UCL injuries that, Purdy's getting surgery for, but of course in his knee. And so I said, what if Lamar's secretly the one that needs this surgery to clean up his knee a little bit? And that's what's delaying all the talks and the trade talks because they've got it.
Because he probably doesn't want it out. And
it'd be the worst. Exactly. If you're trying to trade him, but you got to be honest, and it might give other teams pause. Of course, that's going to give me pause if, I'm trying to get a long-term deal done and you're getting your first major knee surgery. We got to talk.
Yeah.
But
we signed our backup quarterback over the weekend, locked up Drew Lock for 1 more year.
I saw that $4 million with nice incentives. 7, that's a great deal because max value 7.5, meaning worst case something happens to Geno, he can kind of make good money.
Well, that's what we signed Geno last year was $3.5 million base and then 3.5 incentives. Obviously hit all of them, so he got $7 million. So I mean, maybe if Geno goes down or even if Drew Lock beats him out,
I don't know if y'all had signed Gerard Reed yet either in that last podcast.
I was going to say, yeah, Jay Reed, he's back.
He's solid. He's solid.
Yeah, he is. We basically tore down our whole defensive line.
Yeah. Draymond and Jerron is really 2 really good players.
Well, we cut our nose tackle today. And
okay.
And people really liked him, Al Woods, but he is 36. And
if I remember correct, he's always been more of a run blocker. If I remember,
stuffer. Yeah. So he, he's a nose tackle. That's what he's supposed to be.
Exactly. Take the double team, grip the linebacker.
The problem is some people are upset we were 30th against the run last year. This is something that completely had to be done. I mean,
that's every analyst has been, yeah.
Yeah, people preach about, how great Al Woods was, but I mean, can't get much worse than 30th against the run,
I mean, that was for a long time. We had Brandon Williams. I don't know if you remember him at all.
No, not really.
Brandon Williams is one of my favorite all-time Ravens. He very big, 6'5", 300-pound. He played nose tackle for us for a long time. But there was a famous story when we drafted him, I think 5th round overall. But he was in college working for a Porta-John company. And when the Ravens scouts came to interview him, he was working one day and they were like, "How do you feel like, man, you might be going NFL, like you're working at a Porta-John company covered in shit every day." And he literally looked at the scout and said, "Man, sometimes you just get a little shit on you. You just got to keep." And they were like, "This guy's a Raven. Draft him. And he was our nose tackle for 9+ years, I think. I miss him.
Yeah, nose tackles are hard to find, honestly, because you need a guy that big and somebody that can actually take on those blocks.
And they usually don't get the stats, so they usually don't get paid. But they are to a 3-4 defense. You have to have that big guy. You have.
Yeah, exactly. And we're running 3-4. I think it was 30% of the snaps.
Yeah, you explained that last time. You definitely did. You add more to your room?
No.
I swear, I don't remember the shelf. I'm just going blind. That's all.
No, the shelf's been there. I think because the first time we were on a different.
Gotcha. It looks good though. It looks good, my guy. Sorry to interrupt.
Thanks. The helmet on top is actually signed by Drew Lock, so I'm stoked we signed him back.
That is really cool, actually.
But yeah, basically the Seahawks tore down their defensive line, and that's something that needed to happen. We also signed a guard/center in Evan Brown, which we needed a center because ours retired and he wasn't very good last year. So hopefully they'll shore that up. We'll obviously draft some more offensive and defensive linemen in the draft. And honestly, if that's all they draft, or offensive and defensive linemen, I don't care. I'd be happy with it.
You know what's funny is in my pre-show notes when I was talking about everything, one of the things I was like, you know what, I gotta highlight this because we were talking a little bit about how y'all nailed this draft this past year. With Tariq Woolen, Kenneth Walker. Cross, they talked about had some struggles, but solid out. And then Kobe Bryant,
And Abe Lucas, our right tackle.
Exactly. Yeah. You basically, y'all nailed it. Y'all got an A- according to NFL. But I thought it was funny if you notice the top 5 teams that drafted the best were in the playoffs. Basically, the Jets were right there, Detroit Lions, the Seahawks, the Chiefs, and my Ravens were the top 5 teams drafting. It highlights, man, how nailing this draft can really turn around your team. And
exactly.
The Chiefs did it with like 7th round picks.
Well, and it can do the exact opposite, right? So you do not want to whiff on like the Bears. Look at the Bears. If they mess this up the next 3 years, I mean, everybody's going, "Oh, the Bears have it set up. The Bears have it set up." I'm tired of everybody talking about the Bears. Actually do something.
I'm telling you, keep an eye on the Texans. The Texans have made some good moves, and they're not like all like big moves. You know what I'm saying?
Did I tell you about that Bears fan talking shit to me at the XFL game? Did I tell you about that?
I don't think you did. Let me hear it.
Oh, dude, he was next to me going, "Oh, we're just a couple playmakers away. We're just a couple playmakers away. Not like, you guys, blah, blah." And I go, "Dude, there's a reason you guys have the first overall pick in the draft." He goes, "Well, we lost a lot of those games by 1 point." And was wondering when this collab was going to happen.
Yeah, I was just about to say, welcome, Gunny. Gunny's one of the ones dropped into my channel all the time. Yeah, thanks for dropping in. We were trying to figure out how to get this simultaneously going, Gunny. We've been doing this actually for like 3 weeks now.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about the Seahawks or anything, just feel free to drop it in the comments too. So.
Yeah. Gunny, I don't know if you were here too. We talked about Lamar, the possibility of him leaving because, the supposed leak. I don't know if you saw it, but I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, this Bears fan is just talking shit about the Seahawks. And I go, "Dude, you guys suck. You're picking first.
You showed promise, but like, be humble,
goes,
my dude. You ain't done nothing. Like
he goes. We lost a lot of games by 1 point, and I go, you lost a bunch of games by 1 point. That's the difference between good and bad teams.
Like literally, like I will bet you too. Like their schedule was probably not even that hard last year. Like
No, because they
because
probably
everyone knew they were going to be garbage. Like
well, exactly, and they probably finished in 4th place the year before. I'm not a Bears guy. Do you have it in front of you, or?
I'm about to actually look it up right now.
But yeah, he was just going on and on about how great the Bears are. So
It's like that. Like I said, I had a guy. I don't know if Gunny was here when I told this story. I think I told you I had a Pittsburgh guy down here at barbecuing one day was willing to bet me $1,000 that Rashad Bateman was not on the Baltimore Ravens roster because he was getting mixed up with Perriman on the Tampa Bay roster. Like, just sometimes, man, you meet those guys that are just.
I'm humble. I go in. Oh yeah, by the way, shout out No Border Sports. If you don't follow him, we're gonna
2022 Chicago Bears had the 4th easiest schedule. By the way, so yeah, they had it easy in 2022.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Exactly. Like,
but yeah, shout out No Border Sports. He actually makes these. See this background template.
Oh yeah, I was wondering about that. It looks good, honestly. I need something more professional myself, honestly.
Yeah, so DM him and he'll actually make them for you, and follow him on YouTube. We'll be on tomorrow. We're gonna do an NFC West deal every Wednesday forever. So year round, we're gonna try to eventually get 4 of us. So we're gonna do a Seahawks fan. He's a Niners fan.
Okay. And get like one from every divisional opponent.
Yeah, so I think that'd be cool. We'll do kind of like an NFC West roundtable every week. What do you say? Bears defense isn't very intimidating. Their offense stalls. I mean, yeah,
You're
exactly.
Absolutely right. They are banking on a high-powered offense over there in Chicago.
Yeah, and here's the thing too: is everybody says how much money they have, right? But the money's only worth it if they spend it right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, don't be wrong. The linebacker signings of Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards are great signings. You know, there's argument about if they overpaid a little for Edmonds.
I think so. Yeah, especially with the market for inside linebackers.
But they need pass rush wins. If I remember right, they have like a decent youth like on the defensive side. I remember I have a Bears fan. Like, I'm about to double check myself. But
anyways, case in point, I go in this 49er show, right? I'm humble. We're not as successful as them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm humble. This Bears fan, he's just talking so much noise. I was like, dude, you just need to stop.
That's up, dude. I went to the Miami game, like I told you last year. Ravens playing in Miami, and I literally like basically stopped a friend in front of me because it was a Ravens fan, and he was, and as a fellow Ravens fan, this man was ignorant. He was talking so much shit at the beginning of the game, and then of course when the tides turned, you know, the Miami fans were getting kind of their due back a little bit, you know, nothing over the line. It's not like they were dumping beer on him or throwing things, you know, just a little jarring, ha ha ha, now scoreboard, bitch, you know, and dude, man, Baltimore dude lost his shit I'm like, yo, you need to calm down. Like, I'm trying to prevent if I'm like got my little tiny girlfriend beside me, her first NFL game too, and I'm like, man, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I shook their hands as we all left. I was like, good game, man. Sometimes that's how it be.
I think I've talked to you about this before. I like shit talking at the games for sure. I really do.
It's all in good fun. Like
exactly, but you got to know the line when to cross. So like, I get it out of the way early, right? Mm-hmm. So say we get a big first down, I'll reach out to give him a high five. But say they do the same thing, I'll show them that I want to do the same deal. Like, I expect you to talk shit back to me. It's no
like, dude, man will look at me and be like, first down. I'm gonna look at him, just slow clap, like, yeah, that was a good catch. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
yeah, exactly. So,
but I really think the Bears defense problem is gonna be edge. Like, I'm looking at this, you know, this depth chart right now. I'm like, okay, D line, pretty solid. Middle linebackers, cool. They got Andrew Billings, who they just signed. as one D tackle, Justin Jones as their other, D tackles. I guess they switched to 3-4 with Travis Gibson playing the end. Okay, solid. And then, of course, they signed Edmonds and TJ Edwards. Cool. But their edge, DeMarcus Walker and Jack Sanborn, no clue. Like,
see, that's what I mean. Is that team has so many holes to fill.
Which DeMarcus Walker, he's a free agent signing from the Titans. Young guy. Let me see here. Career stats. Had last year 7 sacks. So I guess an uprising guy, but, kind of little unproven. It's one of the ones like they could fizzle quick.
What up, WWE and AEW fan?
Hey, welcome.
And
who's your team? AEW? Is that one of your guys?
No, that's one of your guys.
That's not one of my guys. Welcome to the channel. Either way,
says he is. How many good years is old?
I guess he's coming in.
Let's see. He's 71 or 72 now. I don't think he's.
Is he really?
Yeah, that's what I mean. He gets asked this question all the time, and he said he has a 5-year plan. And every year that 5 years restarts. So I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. I think he's going to go down as the oldest coach in NFL history.
I'll be honest. I love Pete Carroll's energy. Like, I always thought that was a great hire.
Yeah, a lot of people. So when he first came here, everybody hated him. Like up until we started playing actual football, everybody hated him because Jim Mora, he's a Washington guy. And then we only give him 1 season. We let him go. And then Pete Carroll and John Schneider come and rip the whole team down.
And I would say most people expected the Pete Carroll that failed in the NFL before. They were like, oh, God, here comes failed before. God. And like you said, start ripping the team apart.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, I'd say at least probably 4 or 5 more years left. And then I don't know who's going to take over next. I wanted it to be Ken Norton, but we fired him as defensive coordinator, so I don't think so.
I'll say I think Pete Carroll, his timeline really depends on like who the next quarterback is. I think he'll stay as long as Geno stays. I think he'll stay to draft the next quarterback of the future. I think when that quarterback calls it, I think that's when Pete leaves.
I don't know, because it could be 15 years with that next guy. He'll be
if he goes 15 years, it's whenever they don't make the playoffs with the new guy. If they make playoffs like first few years, like 5 years straight, they'd be like, all right, guys, I'm not trying to wheelchair out there.
He doesn't seem that old, but I mean, 8 more years, he'll be 80.
I know, that's mind-blowing.
Yeah, the oldest ever head coach was Marv Levy. I think he was 74. So Pete's got 2 more years.
Getting there. So maybe he's just trying to get one more Super Bowl.
Yeah, or just, build a great team. Super Bowls are everything, but they're not. I mean, I think Bill Belichick and the Patriots really kind of set the bar unreachable with how you're supposed to win Super. Because before then, if you're a head coach and you won a Super Bowl, that's your Hall of Fame ticket.
Exactly, you're absolutely
not
right.
anymore. Not since Belichick. Not since Belichick.
You're kind of right. It's you got to set a dynasty to get there. Really, you're kind of right. I mean, even you can argue Mike Tomlin here in the AFC North a little bit. He's got multiple Super Bowls under his title now. Like,
yeah, I like Mike Tomlin.
Referencing our Diva wide receiver list.
With Juju. Yeah, let's just get.
AB too. Supposedly he's the whole reason AB. I found this fun note. I found this when I was doing my research. Supposedly Ryan Clark told Tomlin and the GM of the Steelers not to give AB the money, that he would act a fool.
Well, he did.
Exactly. Like,
okay, we'll do your number 10 first, and we'll go to mine because I have photos. So
okay, hold on. I wanted to.
You like my little graphic there? I thought I did it.
I do. I like it. All right. Number 10. So my number 10 and number 9 go back a little further. I noticed I was keeping stuff more recent prior.
I kind of kept it to the modern NFL, which I think is
And that's what I was trying to do a little bit too myself.
So anything I kept it like basically this century, so 2000s, basically.
I had to start though Michael Irvin with my number 10 because I
don't disagree. I mean, he punched a guy, he broke a guy's orbital bone, right? Like a backup offensive lineman.
Oh my god! I mean, what didn't he do? Like he was there when Jerry Jones was winning Super Bowls. He let them do whatever they wanted to do, and like I heard like stories. Yeah, he broke that like the dude, and then basically told him, "I'm your boss now," and had him driving around everywhere for him and shit. Like, but had you heard about the White House? Oh man. So apparently this is like now famous. He got charged with cocaine and marijuana possession multiple times. They called it the White House because they were looking for like a secret place near the practice facility to just like party. And like I guess the his old assistant went on a documentary about it, talking about it. And just like basically nonstop orgies and parties and like right across from the practice facility. How he talked about how they'd go out to strip clubs, like scout women, and there was just a nonstop line of big titty blondes rolling into this house that they all like rented out, and like most of them were in on it, like absolutely nuts.
I kept mine to moments, and I kind of kept mine on the field.
Okay.
Well, kind of. I did you'll see. They're mostly football. They're mostly football.
Who's your number 10?
T.O.
Okay. On the star.
Number 10 is definitely T.O. on the star because I don't think it was really that diva-ish. I think it was more of like just like, oh my god, this guy's being an idiot, which is T.O. He'll appear on this list again.
He'll appear on my list too. And like I said, I've got a personal story to settle T.O. a little bit.
But yeah, no, I think T.O. on the star, my number 10. I don't think it was that bad when you look at, I kind of left celebrations off of it.
I get that a little bit. Celebrations. I think it's funny. One of my guys on this list actually two of my guys on this list had a dance battle kind of going on for a while, but I think that was all fun. That's not why they're on the list.
Who you got number 9?
Number 9, again, it's one of those ones kind of towards like the beginning, when we were first watching football, and my last person that's a little older, Keyshawn Johnson. I mean, he literally wrote a book called Throw Me the Damn Ball or Give Me the Damn Ball.
Yeah,
and
there. That's my number 9 as well. Keyshawn's book.
One of the moments actually I read about, they were talking, I was finding some stories. Chris Sims, the old wide receiver for the Buccaneers a long time ago, did a podcast and was he's like,
Sims,
yeah. Sorry, Chris Sims. What did I say?
Chris Sims, wide receiver.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
But where was it? Basically, he's like, yo, if you don't demand a trade, you're not a Diva wide receiver.
I heard there was parts, he was yelling at Gruden on the sidelines. Yeah, Keyshawn has definitely been kind of a diva, an overlooked diva, because he was almost at the age before there was true diva wide receivers, I guess.
I mean, a lot of people I read said he wrote the book on it. I mean, other than he actually did, but like he was the start.
I mean, like you said, Irvin, yeah, he can be a diva, but like Keyshawn was the first one on the field. I feel like that really gave him that name.
I heard another story, supposedly, because drafted first overall, all this stuff, that he would basically had an agreement with the owner and Gruden and all that he would fly after every single game back to Cali. Wouldn't come back till Wednesday on a red-eye flight to come back. So he got to miss Monday, like film review and training, and Tuesday's practice. Come back on a red-eye on Wednesday, basically fucked up from partying out in Cali, And actually, that's how he got in trouble with Gruden, supposedly. Gruden said, no, everyone be here Monday. They played, I think, the Niners that week. He didn't come back and kind of started the whole deal.
What up, Penguin Ghost? Penguin Ghost.
Oh, Penguin's here. Welcome, Penguin. Nah, you're not late, my guy. Penguin's always in my channel.
Who you got at number 8?
Number 8.
Oh, by the way, to cut you off, I have a lot of 49ers fans on my channel now because I've been going on their channels a lot lately. So
hey, I love 49er
cool.
fans. Oh,
yeah,
fun another thing with Keyshawn. Apparently, Keyshawn too, with the whole argument with Gruden, called Rondé Barber and Uncle Tom.
Yeah, and he was pissed that they were throwing the ball to McCardell instead of him.
Yeah, but all right, number 8. Kind of a new age player, Dez Bryant.
Yeah,
throw up the X.
I could see it. I mean, I could.
I mean, yeah. And of course, he came to Baltimore for a while. I never really liked the dude, honestly, and just constantly in trouble for no reason. And even before he came in the NFL, like.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get why Dez is Diva, but I don't even remember who I put as number 8, so we'll find out.
Yeah.
Ocho Cinco legally changes his name.
I've got him on the list for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is just off my head, like I said, but I think there was a time at one point when he put Ocho Cinco on the back of his jersey, so they fined him because it wasn't actually his last name. So he said, fine, I'm going to do it. And then they made him buy back all of his jerseys. That's a Johnson on the back. I mean, yeah.
That was hilarious, honestly.
Just an attention getter.
I wish I could play a clip from YouTube, honestly. Have you ever seen the clip of him trying to, blindside Ray Lewis?
I feel like.
It's absolutely hilarious. Basically, it's a play. He's trying to come across the formation and hit Ray. Ray literally levels him, takes him off his feet, bounces off Ray Lewis, and Ray just keeps running. And he goes, he's hurt. He goes to the sideline talking. He's like, yeah, that was not his coach's like, that's not a smart idea. He's like, I thought I could get him. Boom.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Steve-O. We were supposed to do this yesterday, but we had to reschedule.
Oh yeah. My apologies. That was my fault.
Yeah. All Levi's fault. I mean, he's a pain in my ass.
We talk about airplanes.
But anyways, who you got at 7?
7. Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, that I think I don't know if he's on the list, but yeah, just him dropping that ball before the goal line.
And another one that came to my Ravens, and now he's talking so much shit about the Ravens organization.
Yeah, he's old. He's very old, and I'm pretty sure he's still kind of active because I think he played last season, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he's been moving around. I mean, he logged one of the faster times in the NFL last year and the year before, but just. I don't know. It's just one of those ones. He talks so much shit, and just. And it's one of those ones. I find a lot of these players on the list also have charges.
Yeah, a little bit. Like I said, I tried to keep it on.
Dez Bryant tried to fight Lil Wayne apparently in a South Beach club in 2012.
Number 7. This is a gift, but it got messed up. But yeah, T.O. That's my quarterback. And so the reason I put this on here, especially for one, it's one of the most Diva moments of all time. But for 2, the amount of shit that he talked about all of his quarterbacks.
I know, right?
To freak out that the reporters are talking shit about your quarterback. And then you get cut by the Cowboys a couple of years later and then proceed to talk shit about that quarterback that you're crying about people talking shit about.
Literally. And what's funny is, like I said, I've got him on this list, and I'll tell my story then. But what's funny is we're gonna reference that exact moment when he was acting like you cry. That's my quarterback. We almost roasted him in the entire airport because of that. I almost went on the intercom and said that over the intercom at the airport. Let's put it like that.
Who you got at number 6?
So number 6, this is one Diva, but not in the traditional sense. This is a Diva that's sad. Josh Gordon.
Who?
Josh Gordon, man. The wasted talent because he just can't stop dealing drugs. And like I said, not a traditional sense of Diva, but
just kind of an off the field nightmare.
Exactly. It's like I said, a weird one on my list, but it's like, come on, my guy. He used to show up to games just drunk and high and still was throwing up 200-yard games. Like
He plays for the XFL for my Seattle.
I saw
Seahawks
that
right
he
now.
scored a touchdown. Actually, I saw that.
Yeah, so let's see who I got
Yeah.
6. I think I remember. Yeah, number 6,
Oh,
TikTok boy. I just like the fact that I know you don't like the Steelers, but I love how I meant to say I know you don't like the Bengals because they're in your division, but I just love how they smacked in this game.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of those ones like I loved Juju, and I was like I don't. It's like I don't hate him, but like it's one of those ones. If you're gonna talk so much smack, you better back it up. And Juju doesn't back it up enough for me to justify the smack talking. So I understand him on the list. He kind of gets a little annoying sometimes.
And the Twitter thing, I mean, this doesn't, like I said, I did moments, but the Twitter thing when he's calling out, I think it was Bradbury for holding him. It's like Bradbury admitted he held you. So why are you starting all this shit? And like, then it gets AJ Brown involved, because AJ Brown just backing up his teammate, and then
What I think is funny is that he's now part of the Patriots. I really like. I get it though. Supposedly he's a really good run blocker. All the way back to his Pittsburgh days. Like, and
we'll see.
Exactly, we'll see. Like,
we'll see. Anyways, who you got at 5?
Number 5 is my guy Chad Johnson, aka Ocho Cinco. I mean, for the wide variety, from the amount of smack talking to like wearing fur coats, the Hall of Fame jacket. I mean, the amount of moments he has provided for us for this list alone. You could probably make a top 10 list just of him.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. For number 5, I have Ocho Cinco Hall of Fame jacket.
I'm not kidding, guys. That was not planned. I did not know that was coming up on his list.
No, we haven't looked at each other's lists.
That's
obviously.
hilarious.
So, yeah, I just, back then he probably was. People thought of him as a Hall of Fame receiver, but the best part is if he would have actually made it in, it probably still would have made it on this list, but it wouldn't have been as funny because there's no way he's getting in.
Like, that's one of the ones that killed me. I actually learned route running watching Chad Ochocinco. Like, as a respect from someone that played against him all the time, like, I actually watched him, like, put on a route clinic one time and talk about, these 3-step turns, 1, 2, 3, you're gone around the turn. And, like, his footwork was amazing. But then to, like, slowly almost watch him, like, deteriorate almost mentally, I felt like,
Yeah, and our number 5s go together. So like the sombrero on the sidelines too was another thing, and then dancing with the cheerleaders after
he kicked an extra point, tried out for an MLS team.
Yeah, racing the horse. I think he was racing a horse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, poor dude. Like, he's one of those ones. I think he's gonna have CTE when he gets older. Like,
yeah, I don't know. He's an awesome guy, but like, yeah, it's just the McDonald's before every practice, all the things like that.
And again, it's like killed me because I really thought he was going to be like a great leader, and then, like I said, it just seemed like he went a little off the rails.
Yeah, at first it was funny, and then it just got like, okay.
I think
who you got?
Oh, actually, I meant to flip 6 and 7 and 5 and 4. So actually, Chad Johnson's number 4 on my list. Number 5 was actually supposed to be Steve Smith Sr., and I might get some criticism here for that one.
I don't think he's a diva.
You don't think he's a diva?
No.
Yeah, he's still talking smack.
I think he talks a lot of shit, but I don't think he's a diva. Because
he literally got assault charges against a teammate as well. And then he told a story on a podcast how literally working at Taco Bell in college saved his life because apparently he beat the crap out of his teammate and his teammate was ready to stab him when he came back. And apparently like he got stuck working late that night and just like missed the guy. Like it's just one of those ones. I love the dude to death, but like again,
yeah, just him playing. I think more of like was Steve Smith. I think he's more of like just an asshole, if that makes sense. You know,
and
really.
him and Ocho Cinco had a dance battle going on for a while, which I thought was so hilarious.
Yeah,
Like they were
like
always one upping each
I
other.
left the celebrations out of here. You know, number 10 was
Yeah.
basically just any celebration, but
I get
I
that.
liked Steve Smith rowing the boat. I thought that was pretty fun.
That one when he played against the Vikings was absolutely hilarious. That actually was on one of the articles I was reading.
People were always doubting him. Yeah, Gunny. He definitely had the little man syndrome.
We're actually not in a Discord, Penguin, by the way. We're on StreamYard or whatever it is, his streaming app. But yeah, short man syndrome for real. I've met a few people in my life with it.
So that was number 4, Steve Smith.
Yeah, he was actually supposed to be 5. Chad Johnson or Ocho Cinco was supposed to be 4. Sorry, I messed that up.
Number 4, I got Odell Beckham Jr. versus the kicking net, and
I forgot about the nut incident.
Yeah, just to see him get so pissed off and throw his helmet at the net, and then it hit him right back in the face.
Like literally, it was instant karma, is what it really was.
Yeah, and he's just you know, he is an overall distraction. I think that's why a lot of teams.
He is. The Ravens have talked extensively, of course, about bringing him in. And it's something I was recently talking about on a tweet, you know, because I was like, someone's like, oh, the Ravens aren't bringing in any wide receivers. We have $4 million after cap space or after like draft class and everything. Odell literally tweeted the other day, someone's offering him $4 million a year and he's balking at that number. And I think he's I think he's a cancer to the locker room. I really think he is.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like his dad, who you got number 3?
Number 3 is Terrell Owens. I cannot stand the dude. Like
he's number 3. I thought OBJ might have been number 3 with you.
Number 2, honestly.
Okay.
I think he's a cancer. See, so all right, I'm gonna tell this story about when I met Terrell. I was working at Delta Airlines in Myrtle Beach. His grandma kind of lives in the area, so like he comes to visit that area all the time. Mm-hmm. You know, he knew a bunch of guys. So I'm literally sitting in the office doing my annual qualification trainings, and my this guy, we called him Diesel D. He's a hardcore Vikings fan, but he also likes the Baltimore Orioles. So I used to love talking to this dude all the time. Mm-hmm. But Diesel D comes in, he's like, yo, Levi, I think Terrell Owens is checking in on the kiosk. And I'm like, yo, you're fucking with me. You know, like, that ain't happening. He's like, no, I'm serious. So, of course, I get up. I just look out there. And I'm like, oh, my God. That kind of looks like Terrell Owens. Like,
oh, it's him.
So, apparently, he had already just had a conflict with someone else that I didn't know about. So, but, you know, I walk up, you know, just, sir, you know, trying to do it with my job. You know, are you having everything okay with check-in? Do you need any help or assistance? No, I'm good, you know. And I was like, you know, by the way, and I was like, is your name, you know, Terrell Owens? You know, and he looks at me. And of course, like I had this whole speech because at this time he was just coming off his ACL tear. We're playing for the Bengals. And
so it was later in his career.
Mm-hmm. But I heard nothing out of Cincinnati, but he was a great teammate, a great mentor to not only AJ Green, who was like in his like rookie or first year, but a CCU guy that I knew that I played with. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. The front flip guy we talked about last time.
Oh, Jerome Simpson?
Yeah, Jerome Simpson. Thank you. Again, he was one of the most athletic guy on the field at CCU, but his problem in the NFL, from our understanding, he couldn't learn the playbook. But he was supposedly, T.O. was a great mentor to these guys. So I wanted to wish him, like, even as a Ravens fan, had nothing Ravens on, you know, well, he would, sorry, I was looking at the chat. But, you know, I was going to wish him a happy recovery on his surgery and all this stuff. And, you know, tell him how I didn't believe all these ESPN stories about how much of a dick he was. I had this whole thing. He literally one ups and downs me. And, you know, I was like, you know, asked him, basically if I could get an auto, I ain't got time for that shit. And then like apparently just started fights the entire time in the airport. And so at that point, the baggage handler guy came up to me, told me this whole story, how they just had a standoff. You know, the dude actually knew his mother, you know, like, so like they were like, cool. And he was like, yo, man, screw this guy. He's like, and we were talking and we literally almost went on the intercom and we're like, we're going to make an announcement. That's my quarterback. And just like hang up the intercom real quick just to make fun of him. Cause of course that whole incident had just happened. Like, of course, though, I drew the line there. I couldn't do that at my job. But I just generally don't like the guy. I knew a flight attendant that apparently had run into him several times before. And just every time on the plane, apparently he is a little intoxicated and kind of a dick.
Yeah, it doesn't really surprise me. I mean, just, like I said, I kept it on the field, or kind of on the field, you know.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's just I think he's kind of was a diva between everything else he did on the field, like we had covered, dancing on the star. You know, it's just one of those ones. You don't do stuff like that.
Yeah, and he danced on the star, and Ojo Cinco danced with the stars. So I meant to bring that up. Yeah,
I know that's on my list. Who do you have number 3?
AB helmet drama. That was the
helmet design.
That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen before. I mean, he's making millions of dollars, right? He wants to use this old shut helmet, you know, that the league didn't said was out of date or whatever.
Clear accountability and like health reasons, they can't use it. Like,
yeah, exactly. So he goes on eBay, buys a silver one, and has somebody put Raiders logos on, shows up to practice, and they go, what are you doing? And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, oh no, I ain't playing in those new style helmets. I mean,
after signing for like 30 million guaranteed, I'm pretty sure.
And it was one of the dumbest things. And this is my only thing with him on the Raiders, so we can bring up anything with him on the Raiders. I mean, just really the whole Raiders drama was like insane between the Frost.
It really was. Do you know he showed up to the first day of camp in a hot air balloon?
Yeah, he did. I watched. Yeah. And so he does that. He shows up on the hot air balloon, but before that, he burnt his feet in the hyperbaric chamber because he didn't wear socks.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Like, and again, like everyone knows not to be in there. Like, it clearly says it. I'm sure they told him, and he's like, "No, they didn't tell me. I'm going to sue you."
Yeah. So there's that. Let's see, and then there's a helmet drama, and then he's got beef with Mike Mayock, you know, the general manager of the team at the time. And then it goes on. God, there was one other thing. He's just not showing up because of stupid helmet.
And they gave him 30 different options for that helmet. I've got like the numbers up right here talking about
it. I'm sure they did. I mean, there's a million different options of the helmet you can wear. So, anyways, and then and then the Gruden phone call he put on YouTube or whatever, Twitter. You know. Yeah. Do you have any threat to retire? His time with the Raiders?
Oh yeah. Apparently, like right as soon as he signed, he was in an argument on ESPN. He said, "I don't even need to play football if I don't want to. I don't even need the game. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. If they want to play, they can play by my rules. If not, I don't need to play. Obviously, I want to play, but I don't need the game. It's a difference." And just like talking about how much of a narcissist he was, like that statement alone. And we talked about it earlier. Ryan Clark was on a podcast saying, "I told the GM of the Steelers, I told Tomlin, don't pay him the money. I've been talking to this guy privately. He's going to act a fool." And supposedly the Mike Tomlin had excused a lot of hhis behavior because of his play, essentially.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at that. They had Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, Juju, Le'Veon Bell, and then AB had beef with Juju at one point, right? So, anyways, let's go. Who's your number 2?
Number 2, I've got Odell. The guy, like I said, I feel he is a cancer to locker rooms. I've never been a huge fan of him. Just he doesn't. Yes, he had one good catch, but You know, it
That's
starts
what
all
I
the way
was about
back
to
in like
say.
he had that thing with Josh Norman way back.
Yeah, I think the Norman thing and the kicking net really sum up Odell's career. The catch, the Norman thing, and the kicking net really sum up his career.
Yep.
I think he's
Yep.
the only player that I've ever seen actually be a free agent through the season, and I still saw him on commercials on television, and I was like,
Yep.
"What?
And
How's
then
he on
like the whole thing, why I say he's a cancer locker room in 2017, the whole do you remember the infamous boat picture with Odell?
Yeah, that and the Giants haven't. Well, they finally did, but they haven't won a playoff game since or something.
Yeah, since the Giant that photo, they went 18-48. You know, and it's just one of those ones like if I remember right, that was like during the middle of the week. They had like an off day or something, like
No, it was the bye week, I think.
ahead of the Giants wild card matchup against the Packers.
Oh,
They took a trip to Miami and then they lost to the Packers, and then
is
they
that
haven't
what
reached
it
the playoff.
was? I thought it was
Apparently,
a
yeah.
bye week. I thought it was bye week. Yeah, I
See,
guess
that's what
that.
I kind of thought too, but yeah, I got it up
Yeah,
right
because
here.
if it was a bye week, I think it's kind of an overreaction. You know, them being in New York, they criticize them.
And then, like, I forgot about this. In week 3 against the Eagles, he walked on all fours and acted like a dog urinating on the
I
Eagles
did
field.
forget
Like,
about that. Yeah, I forgot about that.
well, oh yeah, then 2018 got caught with some cocaine, basically
Yeah,
with a Paris model. I don't know. Just the dude's always had issues. And then recently, I saw the actual footage. I don't know if you have of him being taken off the plane in Miami.
I forgot about that, but also you got to think, you know, his dad went on YouTube or whatever and was
Oh my
criticizing Baker
god.
Mayfield.
I
Yeah,
forgot
there's
about
drama.
that. Which I mean, he kind of was right in his defense. It
It
seems
don't
like Baker
matter.
kind of was a problem. But yeah,
It
again,
don't
like
matter.
exactly. Definitely
But
got a lot of issues. And apparently, like, you know, a lot that goes all the way back to like LSU times. He was kind of having issues.
number 2, I had.
The driveway workout.
I mean that was forever like the most infamous. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah.
And he talks about it too. He said he wish he never would have done it. Well, no shit.
Yeah.
And see this earpiece right here in his right ear. I guess his agent was telling him what to say the whole time.
Wow. Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know what's
I
funny is
mean,
I've got some of like the stories about my top 3 here: Terrell, Tia, or Odell, and my number 1, Antonio Brown. Here in a minute. But did you know Terrell Owens back in like all the way back apparently accused his 49er teammates of like quitting on him, like on following that game.
there's been a lot of shit. Yeah, like he accused Jeff Garcia of being gay.
Yeah, he lashed out at Mariucci, who's someone I've actually met too. I met Steve Mariucci up in Marquette, Michigan, where he's from, and he talks shit about Steve Mariucci. Like,
Yeah, and every quarterback that he's ever had. I mean, he talks shit about Jeff Garcia, Donovan McNabb, Tony Romo after he left. And then after Romo, it was kind of just a circus, right? Because he went to Buffalo and then Cincinnati, and then he came here for one preseason and then he was out. So
I'm interested to see what's your number 1.
Oh, you already know it. I mean, nothing. It is very hard to top the drive-away workout after being sent home from practice.
Like
But
literally.
that's
AB drops the mic.
I mean, what more can you say? I mean, I don't think anybody's seen anything like this. And we had 3 years ago, Vontae Davis retires at halftime, right? And everybody's going, oh my God, can you believe that? Vontae Davis retires at halftime. And this guy's like, how can I one-up it? Okay, our offense is still on the field. It's the third quarter. There's 3 minutes and 11 seconds left in the third quarter. I'm just gonna run across the field, take my shirt off, and tell everybody bye, and then have some YouTuber or something, some social media guy pick me up from the airport or pick me up from the stadium, take me back to his apartment while the game's still going on.
And then, like, I mean, the beef he started afterwards, like with Tom Brady and Giselle, and like
he's crazy. I mean, he
again,
is crazy.
CTE. It's like sad slightly. It's slightly sad to watch, but like
It may be sad, but nobody else is doing this shit. I mean, this is the
exactly
most
like
insane thing I've ever seen in my life. It may be CTE, it may be CTE mixed with $1 million, a few $1 million in your bank, you know.
and a lot of people like Ryan Clark talked about it. He had a social media problem. He was obsessed with being on social media, starting
Yeah,
back when he leaked Mike Tomlin talking after the game.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, Mike Tomlin, they did that. But this was the dumbest thing. So I remember where I was when this happened. It was probably 20 minutes before kickoff in the stadium at the Seahawks game, or maybe it was during the game. We had a major snowstorm up here in Seattle, and we went up to the game. I mean, it was like crickets at the game. It was probably 75% full, which usually is like 110% full. The stadium is, and I get this notification on my phone that says AB shirtless runs off during game, and I was like, no way.
I remember seeing that too.
So I click on it, and I was like, this is a joke. There's no way that he did this. Nope, it was real. I mean, it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen on an NFL football field in my life.
And again, he's like, no one will give me a shot. Someone will get like, how can you really expect any NFL team to agree to give you a contract after doing that on a live NFL game? Like, and again, signing a contract without agreeing to like go see a therapist, like, because the dude obviously needed some help. Like,
yeah, and it's just, yeah, he was a guy, the Seahawks talked about bringing him when Russell was still here, and Russell Wilson lobbied for him being here. Thank God. Because
again, same thing with Baltimore, kind of like Lamar wanted him here. Nope, I don't want him.
Well, if you do this with Tom Brady as your quarterback, you think anybody else is going to stop you from doing this? You just,
and like, it goes back apparently, like, like back when he was on the Steelers, when he got benched, he just decided he was going to start skipping practice. And then I don't know if you remember, he showed up to the game in a fur coat like Joe Namath and expected to play. And Tomlin was like, no, you're not playing. Sit down.
Yeah, he didn't show up. Well, how about his last game as a Steeler that he didn't play? He didn't even show up to the game. He didn't show up to practice the week before, right?
Yeah. So apparently, he chucked a football at Big Ben. He then decided to skip the rest of the week's practice leading up to the Sunday showdown, which was a Week 17 game against Cincinnati, which was a really crucial game for them. Then he showed up to the game in a fur coat and then left at halftime.
Yeah.
Apparently. So, yeah, he basically pulled what he did right there with Tampa. History repeats itself, but he did it in less dramatic fashion.
I mean, at least this one, he waited till the third quarter with 3 minutes and 11 seconds left.
But
Dude,
apparently,
I just couldn't believe that one. The offense is still on the field. Their offense was still on the field. It wasn't like, before the kickoff or something, he was like, "Don't, this is me. I'm out."
It's just, it's like I feel bad for him, but at the same time, like the amount of things he's done to hurt himself, and that's like my argument for Josh Gordon too. Like, you just did nothing but hurt yourself.
Well, to be fair to the Josh Gordon thing, I think he had a problem. I don't know. This guy.
I don't know. Do you remember the stories? Do you ever hear about him coming out of college at Baylor?
No.
The problem is he explained in one interview. I want to make sure I'm going to get it here so I don't like get it wrong. But if I remember correctly, sorry, wrong tab. Dude, man, literally talked about how he made more money at Baylor selling weed than he did in his like rookie contract years, basically.
Yeah, I don't know that. Nothing compares to Antonio Brown. I'm sorry.
It really is pretty hard to see. I'm trying to find the.
Maybe someday maybe someday somebody one-ups Antonio Brown, and I just hope to God it's not on my team.
Apparently, Gordon told Uninterrupted that his head coach at Baylor helped him cheat all his drug tests while he was in college so that he didn't keep getting suspended because he had already been suspended once for it. I didn't know about that. Like,
I didn't even know he was suspended for drugs in college.
Yeah, I guess like his freshman year at Baylor.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, man, I saw Reddit earlier. Now I'm like trying to find it all again. It's just one of those ones, man. The dude had so much talent, and it just broke my heart how like he just couldn't get off of it, man. Like it's one of those ones, man. I kind of get it. Like, you know, if you're really hard off in life, but man, when you're making like millions of dollars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He said while at Baylor, he estimated he banked over $10K a month from dealing, basically.
Not a bad income.
Exactly. Like, and that's just like getting there. You know,
But imagine how much money he would have made if he never got suspended in the NFL. You know,
exactly. And that's the thing, dude. When he got to the NFL, even when he played like I think one year led the league in receiving. Like
his rookie year, he won offensive rookie of the year. I mean, he was an all-star.
So yeah, 2012 was rookie year. He got suspended for 2 games the start of 2013, and despite being only in 14 games, had 1,646 yards and 9 TDs.
Yeah, okay.
Had back-to-back 200-yard games. And then
and who was throwing to him? I mean, what?
Exactly. Like he had no quarterback.
Brandon Weeden, maybe? I can't.
Like, I think so. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Like he had nobody throwing to him. Like,
yeah. So
heartbreaking to watch that all happen. I'm excited though, like to see. What do you think is going to happen with Lamar? I want to hear what you think now. Do you think he might end up on one of these new teams, or? We talked about the Falcons, like.
Something tells me he'll end up back in Baltimore, and they'll just sign whatever offer sheet somebody offers. But another part of me says Atlanta waits till after the draft and sends in their offer after that, so they don't have to give up this year's first round pick.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Have they signed anybody this offseason?
The Falcons or the Ravens?
The Ravens.
We don't have any damn cap space, man. We can't sign nobody. I mean, we re-signed Justice Hill, our third string running back, to basically adding 1 year on there, and we re-signed Geno Stone, one of our backup safeties, and then that's basically it. You know, because again, right now as it sits, having cut Calais Campbell and everything, we have only effective cap space $4 million to work with. It says we have 7, but I found out the effective cap space compared to cap space includes like basically projecting filling out the roster with 51 players and the rookie class draft signings.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it seems like they're kind of screwed until Lamar figures the shit out, huh?
That's what a lot of people are starting to while we're trending on Twitter. A lot of people are saying he's holding the Ravens kind of hostage a little bit because we can literally do nothing. Marlon Humphrey's already restructured his deal a good bit. So is Stanley. We hate pushing money to the end of the years of these contracts, you know. So it's like we can't really rework too much more. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, you want to do another top 10 list next week? I think that worked out pretty good.
Yeah. What would you like to cover for next week?
What are you thinking? I'm thinking we'll kind of do the same thing. We'll talk, news in the NFL, and then
let me see. Top 10.
It's got to be a good one, though. It can't be like.
I know. I don't want catches or anything like that. I feel like that's too easy.
I like funny shit for sure, like the Diva stuff.
Celebrations is too easy too.
Yeah,
I feel
that's too easy.
That's tough.
We're in free agency. We could do top 10 worst free agent signings. We could do top 10. I think top 10 worst free agent signings. Top 10 worst. Top 10 worst trades. I like that one even better. What do you think?
I think those sound kind of good to me. Either one you want to do, honestly. The
I
trades.
like doing top 10 worst. It really makes me feel better about myself.
I mean, it's just also easy, like topic ideas too. Like, how do you feel too? Let me ask you about. Do you see the Patriot news? Dante Hightower, and what's his name? McCourty calling it a career. Two big retirements for them.
I saw McCourty. I didn't even know about Hightower, to be honest.
Yeah, dude, he's one of those ones. I think we talked about it before. There was like a little bit of a fan story that Baltimore had a leak in our draft room for a while, and it was to the Patriots because that year they jumped ahead of us. We wanted Dante Hightower, and they jumped ahead of us and took him that year.
I felt like he's kind of flew under the radar his whole career, to be honest.
I agree. He's been a stalwart of that defense, but I feel like never like really, really talked about.
Yeah, that's why. I hear his name and I'm just like, oh yeah, Dante Hightower. Now McCourty, which one retired?
I believe it's Devin, but now I got to double check just to make sure. Have you seen also Daniel Jeremiah put out his third mock draft officially?
Okay, yeah, I was also going to ask you about that. Who you got going number one now?
Oh man, I think so there's a lot of talk in regards to this. That what type of quarterback does Frank Reich like? And if you look back historically, he likes bigger body guys. Now, a lot of people are saying it doesn't matter. Bryce Young's going to be the guy.
I don't think so. I think Stroud.
I kind of agree. I think Stroud's going to be that guy. They said they're going to host all 4 quarterbacks for pre-draft visits.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Exactly. Supposedly there's been a lot of talk. They're still open to trading as well.
Now I saw that. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
I mean, if you're really truly content with like top 4, God, you know what I mean? Like all 4 guys, you know what I mean? Or top 3.
But why trade up to number 1? Why trade up to number 1 if you're going to trade back down? I thought that was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
And I feel like Mel Kiper said that a long time ago, kind of like something similar, because I think another team did that. They traded up number 1 and they traded back 1. Everyone's like, if you're going to do it, man, take your guy. Be confident in it. Like, it shows you're kind of like second guessing a little.
I think that's all smokescreen. I think they're going to go Stroud. Young's going to go to Houston. And then, like I said, I could still see the Raiders trading up to number 3, picking up, taking that freaking guy out of Florida. What's his name?
Really? I'm sorry. You see who trading up to 3?
The Raiders.
Man, and that's the thing. Like,
the
Garoppolo signing. What? Like, I get it to a certain extent because the Jimmy G McDaniels connection, but like you gave up Derek Carr for Jimmy G.
But that's what I mean. Jimmy G is kind of a bridge quarterback, right? And they want this Anthony Richardson to sit behind a quarterback for at least a year. Have this guy sit behind Jimmy G. The Raiders love athletic freaks, right?
I mean, yeah, that's historically kind of Oakland's thing. Yeah, we talked about a lot. Hooker, I think, is going to be real steal this draft, and he's getting a lot. I think in this draft thing, he's now a first-round pick.
Oh, no, I doubt it. I think he'll be second or third.
I really think so too, but there's been a lot of talk.
My thing with Anthony Richardson too, that guy from Florida, is I think he's going to go top 10.
Agreed.
Or I think he's going to be a second rounder.
No, I don't think no way he slips to second. Yeah,
they said that about Malik Willis last year.
I forgot who was talking about it on NFL, but they basically were talking about, of course, with the price of quarterbacks going up, Lamar's about to drive this market to $60 million potentially. It makes going after young quarterbacks in the draft even that much more important.
Yeah, Gunny, Hooker's already 25, but quarterbacks they play till they're 40 now. I mean, what's the difference between drafting a guy that's 23 and drafting a guy that's 25?
That was actually the big argument with Brandon Weeden was when Cleveland took him as the late first-round pick, their second first-round pick of that year.
I thought he was like 26.
I think he was closer to like 29, if I remember correct. I'm gonna have to like Google it now.
Yeah, he was super old, but my dream
He was
scenario.
28 years old when he was the 22nd pick overall.
Yeah, that's a little different than 25.
Yeah.
I mean,
I kind of get your argument, Gunny, a little bit, 25, but I think his decision making has
and
been
the way that college quarterbacks now, especially with that COVID year that did not count, there's going to be a lot, especially next year. There's going to be a lot of quarterbacks coming out that are 25.
I actually have there's a Raven fan that lives here in my complex. He likes to stop me when I'm going for my morning walks for coffee. And he talks about it. He's like, man, tank for Caleb Williams next year. And I'm like, that's a little harsh, but I can't deny it's not a terrible idea.
It's almost hard. You guys don't want the number 1 overall pick?
No, we don't. We don't.
You
I
guys,
absolutely don't.
You guys are there's only 3 teams that have never had the number 1 overall pick. It's us, you guys, and the Broncos.
I mean, like, it's going to be hard because the draft compensation for Lamar is going to be really interesting. And it's why more of these teams like the Vikings and the Titans are in the talks now, because you don't have a top, 5 pick. You're not going to, and to go from like out of the top 10 to a top 5 pick, we just saw what it took for Carolina to get up there, which I think was too much.
Yeah, but if that's their guy, it's their guy. Like I said, a dream scenario too, the Vegas Raiders, they trade up to number 3, take Anthony Richardson. 4, the Colts will take Levis. And then 5, we're sitting there. Anybody on the board we want, except for a quarterback. And I want Will Anderson. If Will Anderson's not there, I think we trade down. I hope we can trade down.
And I definitely think Anderson's the pick over Carter. Carter might start the season like on a 4-game suspension potentially.
Not only that is pro day. You can't make it through your own.
I saw that. He did not perform well.
That's easier than the combine. That's set up for you to look good. The pro days are set up for you to look good. And just the fact that I couldn't do that, I mean, I don't know. But the Panthers trade back and get a good haul doesn't seem too bad. They already gave up everything.
They did give up a lot. Like,
you know what I mean? They gave up everything. If you're second guessing yourself now, you already messed up.
You know what though? He does bring up an interesting point. So, like, let's say they traded up. What were they? They were 9. So I mean, from 9 to 1 cost basically 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a star player kind on contract. I mean, in similar fashion, looking like Tennessee. Because again, looking at these teams that really Tennessee's an interesting one, like I said, for Lamar. Because if Tennessee just straight up cuts Ryan Tannehill, post June 1st, the cap savings is so ridiculous that they could. And again, that team goes from a borderline playoff team to an actual Super Bowl contender with Derek. Yeah, they would save $21 million post June trade or release of Tannehill.
And I think
that's enough to fit Lamar's 1-year deal so far.
And I think that's why people are thinking Rodgers is Tennessee at first too, right? Because they thought, okay, they're done with Tannehill. Another thing in Carr to Tennessee, Carr went to New Orleans.
But I think neither want to go there because, I mean, Tennessee kind of botched the wide receiver situation a little bit.
Yeah, they did. They messed that up for sure. I mean, they basically
and of course, that's Lamar's biggest complaint here.
Quarterbacks are going to have that complaint. I mean, honestly.
And I kind of get that, but it's one of those ones, case in point, we looked at what you truly want in a franchise quarterback, and we've talked about it a little bit here. I think there's no quarterback in the NFL that's worth fully guaranteed contract other than maybe Patrick Mahomes, because I think Patrick Mahomes, I'm a fanboy. But,
no, I agree 100%.
He showed they traded his number 1 wide receiver. What did he do when I won a Super Bowl? With guys that were more system fits. And that's exactly what you want out of a franchise quarterback. And yes, Lamar didn't have the number 1 guy, but you showed no ability to elevate any of your guys. And most of his yards came on broken plays.
Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't see Carolina trading back to 11 because that's who Tennessee has. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, and I think Tennessee, they've got taken a quarterback. I think they and Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft. No, never mind. He has Tennessee. He has Henderson Hooker though going 23 to the Vikings, which is a great fit. Kirk Cousins has 1 year left on his contract. Hooker needs 1 year probably to recoup and sit. I think that's a great fit too, honestly. And that's why they're talking about Lamar going there, because in 1 year they're going to move on from Kirk Cousins. So
yeah, or they can trade him straight across, right?
And if Lamar goes to the Vikings are probably a division favorite automatically.
I just couldn't see him in Minnesota.
I do with Justin Jefferson. Even I'm like, dang, just throw the ball up. And that's what Lamar likes, those big guys. Like,
yeah, we'll see. I think he stays in Baltimore.
I will admit, cap number wise, when I looked at that a little bit, it was kind of hard to make that work somehow, because I don't think there's like really any savings for the Vikings. They're still $5 million over the cap, which, I mean, maybe they're all in to win a Super Bowl.
How pissed would you be though if Kirk Cousins is your starter next year?
I wouldn't hate it, but I would understand that we're looking for the next guy,
somebody else.
But supposedly if they trade Kirk Cousins post June, it's a $10 million savings this year. No savings if they cut him. So it's got to be a trade basically. But I mean, they could make it kind of work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I think after the draft, we'll definitely hear the Lamar stuff heat up a lot more than it is.
It's either going to, actually, in regards to that, I think it's going to heat up actually just a little sooner. And I only thought that because, again, doing all my reading and listening today,
yeah,
the NFL owner meetings are coming up in 3 days, 5 days. The owner meetings start the 26th through the 29th. And historically, we know at these owner meetings, a lot of deals get done.
Yeah, maybe they'll actually force.
I think we're going to see a lot of move on the Lamar front.
Yeah,
in that time frame, because the Ravens want to get it done.
If Lamar, I don't think the 49ers are going to do it. They're set. I mean, 49ers fans have been talking about it. Like they've been doing hypotheticals, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make any sense to me, at least, for them to do that.
And I kind of agree. The Niners, they don't really have any draft picks.
No, but you know what they have is a great team.
Exactly.
You don't want to break that up.
And Baltimore has cap space issues. We're not really trying to take on any super bad contracts, And
I think their deal was 2 first-round picks and Bosa.
Mm-hmm. Which, Bosa would be a great player for us,
but your 2 first-round picks, they don't have one this year.
I don't think we can. Bosa got a contract already, didn't he?
I
can't remember.
I'd be lying.
He got his contract still on a rookie deal. I think he might be rookie.
I was talking to Ryan at Diva WR Sports. I like Nick Bosa. I just can't stand Joey Bosa. So having his brother come.
I kind of agree. Let me see. Yeah, Nick Bosa, the 49ers. I want to make sure I got the right one here. Contract. Yeah, he's on his 5th-year option, scheduled to make $17 million. So he's one of those ones. He'd be like a 1-year kind of rental, essentially, which is some good trade options, actually. That does enter him into the trade market. I will admit that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll see a lot after the draft, honestly.
Yeah, of course, after the draft, I mean, everyone will truly know how their quarterbacks are sitting.
Not only
I
that,
definitely see number 3 pick though, Cardinals. That pick's getting traded. A quarterback's getting selected there.
I hope. That's what I hope.
It's just who is it and who's trading up.
I think it's
mean,
Vegas. I really do. But here's the thing, right? So hypothetically,
yeah.
and hypotheticals suck, but say the Raiders want to put in an offer for Lamar or somebody.
You said the Raiders?
Yeah, somebody in the top 10, right? The Falcons, 8.
Okay, yep.
So if they put in that offer sheet after the draft, they could still have the 8th overall pick and Lamar Jackson, right? Because they don't think if they get Lamar Jackson, they don't think, hey, we're picking in the top 10 next year. They think, hey, we're picking in the 20s
Exactly.
next year. So we can say to the Ravens, okay, here's your 2 first-round picks, but one of them's not going to be, but they're not going to be in the top.
They're like, yeah, still in the future. And see, in that situation, I like the Ravens are hoping something happens like to that offense.
Exactly. But
you're absolutely right. That. Baltimore can kind of get shafted a little bit there.
Yeah. I mean, I think I said it last time. I was like, hypothetically, the Kansas City Chiefs. Right.
Yeah, just like in essence to like mess them up.
Yeah, they could go, you know what?
But of course, they could never do that because then like Baltimore would be like, go ahead. You're going to have to cut Patrick Mahomes to make the cap space to sign him to the sheet.
No, that's I was just saying somebody that
I know. Yeah, I get what you're saying though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so one of these teams that really has,
their team build can wait until after. Yeah, especially like I said, Atlanta, you think they want to give up the 8th overall pick? No, but they're not going to be picking 8th next year with Lamar Jackson as a quarterback.
Agreed, though. It's definitely something to keep an eye on. But I think Lamar wants to get this settled really quickly. I know the Ravens absolutely are trying to get this settled before. It's just I think they were just waiting to see if anyone's going to offer Lamar money. That's the crazy part, that nothing has materialized yet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because the trade, usually half the talk is, okay, what's his contract? And then what the other talk is, okay, what's the trade compensation? The trade compensation's been set since day one, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm mind blown that no one's really done it yet.
Yeah. Well, you got anything else planned for this week, or you staying off till Monday?
I'm not sure. It's one of those ones I have, man. I'm actually in the process right now, for the week. I'm like, I want to be doing more videos. I literally would like to be doing videos every day, but I'm literally having to rewrite a contract right now and get that submitted to a lawyer for something else. I'm trying to get a car registered here now and get that all started. And oh my God, there's so many other things. We're also I know coming up in the next week, we might be having a 4-day overnight we have to do for work. So 4 straight days of overnights. I've got so much coming up. It's such a struggle. I wanted to get to the NFL draft so badly too.
In Kansas City?
Oh, dude. I was trying to get to Indianapolis to go to the combine because it's free. I think it's free this year to go to the draft as well.
Oh, that's what I was wondering. I was trying to find tickets just to see how much they were.
I think you have to download. NFL has a new app called NFL One Pass. It's what they were using for the combine as well. You had to sign up for the app, and then basically through that you could reserve a spot at the combine and get free entrance. You know how the apps are; they're stealing all your information anyway. So
whatever.
Oh, Gunny said, did Lamar do his YouTube interview yet? I forgot. So I've been waiting for that too, honestly. Gunny, I've been wondering what's the deal with that.
I didn't know nothing about it.
So he teased recently that he was going to do an exclusive interview on his YouTube channel. Yeah, he promoted an interview on his Instagram page yesterday. In the clip, he talks about his transition from playing college football to playing the NFL at an elite level. I don't think he's done it yet, but yeah, everyone's waiting for it because everyone thinks he's going to talk a little bit more about everything going on, especially with. Sorry.
Knowing millions of dollars are being involved, I think he's gonna beat around the bush the whole time. If
He's
there's
hyping.
actually
That's what he's been doing, man. Just hyping stuff up. Like,
that's what they do. They're they just beat around the bush. I mean, GMs, coaches, players, they all do that during interviews, especially
but
during this time of year. They don't want to give anybody any more stuff to talk about than they need to.
And one thing that's interesting, supposedly, is like the interview, he might be like doing it himself. So like
He's gonna interview himself.
That's like what people are like a little
Softball.
confused on, and like let me see. I'm trying to find the thing talking about it.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, it's of course Raven fans are waiting tooth and nail for it, but it's just like I said, I feel like we're being held ransom at this point. Like,
well, we're gonna get off of here, and he's gonna do something as soon as we get off of here. So
I know, right? Like literally as soon as we get off here, like I will admit, there's some of these teams though have got a lot of stuff going on. Like the Falcons and the Lions have made some serious turnarounds.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I know the Lions, like their secondary sucked.
So. And with those recent signings, I'm a little mad. I don't know if you saw I don't know if you're like trying to get off or but I don't know. Did you see the Orlando Brown signing to the Bengals?
Yeah, I saw it.
4 years, $64 million. He signed for nothing, like nothing.
And I think the thing is, he thought he was going to get more, right?
So he really did.
He tested the market. What did Jawan Taylor sign for? Did you see?
Yeah, Jawan Taylor, 4 year, $80 million. So like,
yeah,
and exactly. that blows my mind. That like, they just didn't want him to play left tackle anymore. I don't understand why.
I heard something about him really wanting to play left tackle. And not
that's why he left the Ravens. Ronnie Stanley got hurt. He played left tackle. He played top 5 left tackle. His father, of course, was a left tackle for us. And so he said his father passed away early when he, in his childhood. And he used to always come to the Ravens facility. He grew up in the Ravens facility. So he said he wants to honor his father's legacy and play left tackle. And that's the only thing he wants to play. And supposedly that's caused issues.
Seems kind of funky, to be honest, to really be that
specific. It's like I slightly get it, but at the same time, like, if you're 10 times better playing right tackle than left tackle because you played that growing a lot. I mean, he played both, but like, just play, man. Just play. Like,
yeah, imagine a practice squad guy going, nope, I'm not going to play on the right side of that line. I'm only going left.
Exactly. Like, and that's why he left the Ravens, because we had a left tackle, Ronnie Stanley, who we like the year before just given a long-term extension to. So, we couldn't pay him left tackle money. And then I really can't believe that the Chiefs, though, were not willing to commit to him at left tackle. Like,
I think they probably offered him 4 years, $80 million. He probably didn't take it. He probably thought he was going to make a lot more money.
That probably is exactly what happened. Larry Tunsil has set up a new extension again, and Larry Tunsil keeps making himself the highest paid like left tackle in the league.
I saw that. Just signed 3 years, 3-year deals.
Oh, under the radar signing, do you see OJ Howard signed with the Raiders, the tight end?
No, I didn't see that. I saw Waller got shipped off.
Yep. OJ Howard, keep an eye out on him. He had sneaky talent coming out of the draft. Really, I think he's like a 4.4, 4.5 tight end guy, but just never like played at that level, in my opinion. But he kind of fits that mold of Waller a little bit. So he's definitely, fantasy wise, if he's not somewhere, keep an eye out for him. He's gonna fill that hole.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I wanted to make a joke too. Talk about top 10 with Diva wide receivers. Is Aaron Hernandez considered a wide receiver? Because
I stay away from Aaron Hernandez topic.
The Florida Gators. Again, I want to see that documentary about the Florida Gators with Tim Tebow, the Pouncey brothers, Aaron Hernandez.
Percy
Harvin. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was just insane. Tebow's your quarterback. That was like the dumbest.
Exactly. Like,
OBJ
and what's
knows.
crazy is he was like such a high recruiting tool for them as well.
OBJ knows what I'm like. But yeah, crazy. I didn't know there was a Chiefs deal.
He would, and the Chiefs cleared space for him for a while, and then they just never. I believe when they like case in point, the whole move with like Kadarius Toney, and they cut someone that brought Kadarius. I talked about it on my channel. They had just enough money to sign OBJ for like a Super Bowl run, basically, kind of like how he signed with the Rams a little bit.
And that was another thing I had a problem with OBJ is him waiting so long to sign with the team. Like it's almost like he's just trying to be a mercenary and get another ring. I don't like that.
And like I understand it like for like more like a Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell's going to sign wherever his best chance of getting a ring is this year. I wish he would come back to Baltimore, but I mean, if realistically looking at Baltimore right now, there's too much uncertainty.
I don't like the whole mercenary idea, trying ring chasers. It's cool. It's fine with me in basketball. I don't watch basketball a whole lot, but football, it don't. I didn't like the whole Von Miller OBJ thing they did in LA.
Yeah, one thing I had man, poor Brandon Cooks. That dude has been traded so many freaking times now in still in Texas, but now at the Cowboys.
I know. I couldn't believe that too. He's a pretty good receiver. I mean,
I've always wondered why. Like why?
He's always been super productive. So where was he at first? New Orleans, and then
drafted by New Orleans.
Oh, he was in Jacksonville?
Wasn't he? Dude, he's been around like 5-6 teams, I swear, at this point. Like,
I thought it was just New Orleans, New England. Who was the last one? Houston, and now
he's been done dirty his entire career, in my opinion. Like a little bit.
Yeah, but
yeah, the Lions signing not only Cameron Sutton, they got Gardner Johnson, Emmanuel Mosley. Like they basically went and got 3 starting like corner safeties right there.
They got Mosley too.
Yeah, they got Emmanuel Mosley as well. So like they redid that entire freaking secondary, brought back their center guard Graham Glasgow a little bit, and then a lot of really good like depth signings too. The Lions got a chance next year. Like
there's not a lot of guys I could, DK is an athletic freak, right? Mosley was one of those guys that would hold DK in check every time they lined up against each other. I mean, Mosley was good.
And that's why people are saying that secondary might be scary for the Lions next year, actually.
I don't know, though, because they also have to play together. That's a big thing.
You are absolutely right on that.
The secondary is almost like the offensive line. They really have to be in sync and know what each other's doing. So, I mean, unless they just play man-to-man all the time. So, yeah.
And that's the thing, like, I remember reading, like, like Taste Point, the Vikings run a lot of zone plays, and like half the signings for the Vikings just don't make sense, like to their system. Like,
what's your projection? Yeah, exactly. Either first or second in our division. Exactly. I hope we can catch up with the Niners. I mean, with the way we're rebuilding our defensive line, I think it's the way the NFL scheduling works is they're probably going to face us and the Niners week 17 or week 18 now. And
absolutely. For game for the division, hopefully, is what they're hoping.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the same thing. I think that game will basically decide the division. I think the Cardinals are going to suck. I think the Rams are going to kind of suck.
Yeah, they're going to suck.
And then I think we're going to be I think the 49ers are going to be really tough to catch. So I think we'll be in the playoffs. I just don't know if we're going to host a playoff game.
I really think your Seahawks are going to run that division, to be honest with you. And I solely say this because the 49ers are good. They're got a lot of players coming back from injury. I see Bosa being moved before the next trade deadline.
I don't think so, dude.
I think he gets moved. I don't think they can't pay him. That's the problem. They can't pay him.
They'll find a way. I think they'll find a way. It's scary, but they'll find a way.
But I think the true difference is going to be because of the Russell Wilson trade. Your draft picks, having 2 draft picks while 49ers aren't bringing in anybody, basically. Like, I think that's just
They brought in Javon Hargrave, and that's scary.
I mean, don't be wrong. Yeah, that is a big move, and that's again why Bosa's not going to be able to stay.
Really, I think it almost the opposite. I think they wouldn't have signed him if they couldn't keep Bosa. I think Bosa and Warner are the pillars of those defense, and they're going to have to keep them.
Let me see. Next year, they've got. I'm like looking at there, so they'll have 24 million next year. But I'm trying to look at their free agents for next year too.
But they can restructure a bunch of stuff. You know?
They really could, but restructuring can get you in a lot of mess. Like a lot of teams really don't like to do it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it here. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, you're fine.
Okay, that's that 2024 free agents. Why did it get rid of my freaking? I hate it got rid of my filter for some reason when I go to 2024. Frustrating.
Steve-O thinks there's no chance Bosa's being moved. He's a big 49ers guy.
Man, I'm telling you, I think it happens. I'm trying to find my numbers to make it make sense.
I don't think they move. I think he's a pillar of that defense. I don't think there's any.
I mean, of course, he's a pillar of that defense.
I think him and Warner. There is no way they can move off those two. And even that,
they might be able to make it work, but it's going to limit them a lot.
Yeah, he's going to command a lot. But the thing is with the Niners, they just got so many good players. You know,
they really do.
He said
Sean Gibson and Brandon Ayuk are going to be undrafted or free agents in 2020.
Ayuk, he's a killer, dude. I'm more afraid of Ayuk than I am Devo. And I talked to this guy at, like I said, Ryan at No Border Sports, and he kind of Ayuk's the number one.
Yep.
He said they can free up $11 million just restructuring CMC.
He might have to talk about Eric Armstead too soon. Eric Armstead's got 2 void years on his contract already from being redone, coming up in 2025.
I don't know.
I will admit though, that linebacker core over there in San Fran's a little scary.
It is, and their D line, especially adding Hargrave. And I don't think they
they can probably work Bosa, actually. Looking at these cap numbers, they can probably work Bosa.
They can.
Sure. It's just going to limit them in free agency next year, but they can work it. Absolutely.
But it's they don't need a bunch of free agents. You know what I mean? The Niners are, like I said, I hate them, but with all due respect, they're a dominant team. I really think they're better than the Eagles, and the Eagles beat them. But
the Eagles got lucky about the quarterback thing. They really did. And yeah, $11 million by restructuring Christian McCaffrey. And like I said, I get it, but I'm telling you, someone that as I look numbers over, you want to avoid restructuring contracts as much as you can. You really do. You already have some restructured, but I will admit, looking at the one I just mentioned, it's not really that bad.
Yeah. But anyways, I think I'm about to hop off for the night.
Okay.
You?
It was very
yeah. You got anything else you want to talk about?
Nah, I don't want to keep you held up here, man.
Oh no, you're good.
I'm just recapping, looking over everything. I think I looking too. I'm excited to see what the Panthers do now with that now number 1 overall pick. I think they stole Adam Thielen from the Vikings. Hayden Hurst is a great signing at tight end. They re-signed Bradley Bozeman, who's our former center. Tuttle, Shy Tuttle, I think was from y'all. Von Bell. They signed Miles Sanders from the Eagles to replace who fits a lot of the molds of Christian McCaffrey, basically.
Yeah.
And then they brought in Justin McCray, the offensive guard, who's actually pretty good. So 2 offensive linemen, a wide receiver, tight end. They added a lot of good, solid weapons, but they gave up too much in the trade is my problem.
I don't know if they gave up too much. I think they just
That second round pick's too much for me, man. Like, I value those seconds. So many good players fall in the second round. DK was the second.
Yeah, the very last pick of the second round.
Exactly. Like, second round picks are so valuable.
Raven's gonna mess around and be the old Brown.
No, and thankfully we will never be the old Browns because we have Steve Biscotti as our owner, Steve.
Well, I haven't brought this up, but technically they are the old Browns.
No.
The only reason
we're the old Colts and the new Brown. The new Brown.
The only reason I don't give the Ravens shit about taking the Browns away from Cleveland is because they had their team taken away from them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
like,
we had our
I
team.
will admit, what happened supposedly in Cleveland was pretty messed up. Like,
yeah, but they got their team back pretty quick. You know,
exactly.
Us Sonics fans, we're still waiting.
Man, it'd be interesting. I really wish they would bring back the Sonics, but
well, there's no reason not to. I mean, the Thunder had the second worst attendance in the NBA last year. Yeah,
that's rough. Like, I mean, it's just because they had Westbrook, Durant, and Harden,
and Serge Ibaka
with I think like Perkins, and like they had an all-star team, but just bad management and bad coaching, basically. Like,
yeah.
Oh, by the way, we talked about it last time. I remember I said Baker Mayfield was going to go to the Buccaneers.
Yeah, you did say that, and I didn't believe it, but yeah, he's there.
Well, that's
got to win championships, you know.
Yeah. You know, it's pretty interesting looking at the Cardinals' recent signings. They redid their offensive line.
Before you get to that, Gunny, we're gonna try to do this every Monday.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do every Monday, Gundy.
And we're gonna simulcast all of them too. So you should
from now
either
on,
channel's fine.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the Niners have done some good work this offseason too. It looks like, looking at all their songs, a lot of lesser known names, but keeping that team together is what they were doing basically.
Yeah, exactly. They're ready to win a Super Bowl. I really thought they were going to win the who signs first, Rodgers or Lamar. I think neither.
I mean, technically Rodgers is signed, but
yeah, which deal happens first?
Yeah,
I really think Rodgers seems closer, but there's been talk about Rodgers. There's been no talk about Lamar.
I think Lamar gets done first, only because I think, of course, the Aaron Rodgers thing is done, but it's like we talked about. Post June, there's numbers involved, and the Packers won't those post June number relief. I'm pretty sure. So I think they're gonna wait till June to get this deal done for Rodgers. I think this is all smoke and mirrors. But so with that, I think Lamar's gets done first. I don't know where though. Steve-O, let me ask you, where do you think Lamar's gonna end up?
Yeah, Steve-O, where do you think Lamar's gonna end up?
I should say chat.
Yeah, chat.
Because of course we talked about a little earlier. The new one coming out the woodworks is that the Vikings might be in these talks because Kirk Cousins on the final year of his deal. I mean, the hot five right now are the Colts, the Vikings, the Titans, the Falcons, and supposedly the Patriots.
No.
Which I can kind of get because Mac Jones is on like a 5th year, kind of deal. Basically, Zap's an undrafted free agent, so you've got so much leverage over him.
Ravens had 2 years. I go elsewhere.
And they've been trying to get this deal done. See, the problem, Steve-O, is with our owner. We had this conflict once with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco thought he deserved to be the highest paid quarterback. He had immense playoff success with pretty decent regular season. We were going in New England and putting Tom Brady in his place. We were Tom Brady's kryptonite for a few years. And Biscotti looked at Flacco, said, if you want to get paid the best, go win the Super Bowl. And he literally did it. That's the standard in Baltimore.
Steve-O mentioned the Colts, and I didn't even think about that. That would be a good idea post-draft, right? They have the 4th overall pick. They say they take Will Anderson, right? Somebody jumps them and takes Levis, or they take Anthony Richardson. They take Will Anderson, keeps it away from the Seahawks.
The draft haul they could pull in from 4 with probably one of those quarterbacks left on the board, potentially. And a team would be so desperate. Like,
yeah, they get all those picks, right? So they get all those picks, they trade back, and then they go, "Oh, okay, yeah, guess what? Now we're ready to talk Lamar because we don't have to give up our draft pick till the next 2 years."
they could
How about
pay.
you,
They
Steve-O?
could
What do
be.
you think about the Niners fans talking about getting Lamar? Because it's all hypothetical, obviously. There's no way the Niners are
The
going to go.
arguments with the Colts, though, is again, where's the wide receivers? Where's the weapons? Where's the O line? But I think with the Colts, in Steve-O's thing, I think it's all about Irsay. Irsay wants his next franchise quarterback. You don't want Lamar? Come
Steve-O says
on.
pass. No, I think so too. They have a team that doesn't even really need a quarterback to win games.
And they're a good example. Do you really need the franchise quarterback to win games? You don't.
And that's what I want the Seahawks to do. I want them to build the roster and worry about the quarterback later, right?
And that's what I want Baltimore to do, but half my fan base disagrees with me.
Well, it's hard when you have one, right? Like we had Russ for so long, and
Yeah.
just thinking about losing him, and you're like, do we really want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
But then
you got to know when the time's the time.
Yeah, and then it actually happens, and you're like, I was happy by the time it happened because I was ready to move on the year before that when he put out the list of 4 teams that he'd be willing to be traded to.
Yeah, I felt like that was kind of dirty. Like,
because if he don't want to be here, he don't want to be here. Whatever, let him go. He's going to be a prima donna.
And Steve-O, thank you. Unlike most Raven fans, you know how to actually read a stat line and see how many games he's in. Like, it kills me how many people are like, oh, he was the 2019 MVP. He's had declining play since then, and he's missed 12 games in 2 years. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's one of those ones, I don't know, like, you go back to Russ, like, if when he was starting to decline, it wasn't that bad of a decline. Like, and
no, this year was off.
Oh, yeah. This year was exactly because y'all knew it was coming slightly. Like,
but the thing is, not just looking at his numbers, looking at him play. The second half of the 2020 season is when he started declining. Watching him play, not the numbers. The numbers don't. People say stats don't lie. Stats do lie. You can watch him play.
They can. And that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, so what if he has got the catch and his completion percentage is high? If you watch the game, it was a bad throw. He was
Well, the thing about Russ is he goes, I don't want to be sacked too many times. I'm on offensive line. Maybe release the ball out of your hands.
Exactly. Like and I really wish. So I have 3 different videos that I was trying to do, and my computer's having graphic card issues. So what it is I've done the videos already, but my computer can't stitch it all together. And what I did is I broke down 3 different games from this past year, basically, of Lamar throwing, and some of the games were the first ones.
Surprise me. But yeah.
And that's the thing is when I watch Lamar play, man, the throws are not good. I'm watching his pocket, and just I don't know, man. He doesn't pass the eye test, in my opinion, is the problem.
Yeah, I mean stats definitely lie.
So. Like, all right, let's look at rating, for example. So Russell Wilson in 2018, 110 rating.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he missed 19.
No, he played the whole season.
It's like weird. There's no 19 stat on.
He didn't miss a single game until 2021. He missed 3 games.
Why is there no what's weird is I'm on NFL.com's, right? And I'm looking at his career stats, and 2019 is like literally just not there. Like, I don't.
He was decent. He had a passer rating over 100 every year he played with us.
Exactly. But so let's look at Lamar's stat. Lamar had that MVP season, 113 rating. The next year, 99.4. The next year, 87. The next year, 91.1. Like, hasn't broke 100 rating. And it's one of those ones like I talk about when I watch the eye test. I'm like, so what if Mark Andrews is just on a broken play? Like, I don't know. It's just when I broke down his film, it didn't pass the eye test. And I'm like, there's so many throws that could have been done better. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. It frustrates the hell out of me.
Well,
Russ like the most sacked quarterback less. And yeah, that was a problem for him a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? They want all this money, right? And then we're already paying the top flight defense, especially back then. We're already playing a top flight defense, and then you want all this money, and it's like, okay, well, how are we going to protect you? How are we going to provide weapons around you? And then also, when you hold the ball for way too long, those equal sacks, right?
Oh yeah, that was something I meant to say is when I was studying the film, the amount of times Lamar had a throw open and just chose to hold the ball and try to find something deep, and it just again kind of the issue. Lamar was holding the ball too long and not throwing to his outlets when they were wide open sometimes. And then, like I said, I have countless video clips of him like putting a swing pass to his halfback into the ground from a clean pocket with no one. And then again, we're talking about those numbers. I have one very exclusive clip. He throws the ball to Mark Andrews, and I literally zoom out. There is no one within 15 yards of Mark Andrews. He throws it from a clean pocket, but the ball is so poorly thrown. Mark has to stop running, literally almost duck down and curl up to catch the ball, at which point it gives all the defenders. So, yeah, that's a completion of, 12 yards. Awesome. Woo. Lamar's an MVP. Half the quarterbacks in the NFL, that would have been a catch of 20 plus yards, if not more. And that's where I'm like, again, the stats are lying because it looks like a completion, but it was a really bad completion that I played with guys that could have made that throw. And that's what kills me. I played with guys like we talked about. I played, Tyler Thigpen played in my flag football league. I've played with some college quarterbacks. Like, I know guys that can make that throw. So no excuse from a franchise quarterback that wants a fully guaranteed deal.
Want Cam Newton?
I'm interested to see how his pro day went. Let me say this.
Have you ever heard of a 30-year-old quarterback having or how old is he now? He's probably 35.
He's pulling a Terrell Owens is what he's doing. Terrell Owens putting on pro days, street, driveway workouts, trying to get signed.
Yeah, I heard somebody, they're like, oh yeah, he's at Auburn's pro day. I'm like, he's 35.
And like, I've always supported Cam Newton. I was very vocal that the Panthers, because I grew up in Carolina, so Panthers always been like
I've hated Cam Newton since I saw him smiling during draft day.
I've loved him, but I don't know what happened. And I feel like Carolina never really gave him all the tools he needed at certain times.
Whatever.
Well, again, more of the offensive line. More of the offensive line is what my problem is, because they were counting on him to run, which I didn't like. And I didn't like some of the play callings and just like how I don't like Lamar being ran up the middle. I'm like, cool, he's 250 pounds. He can truck someone. I don't want my franchise quarterback trucking people. That's cool. He can do it. That's great. But, I was sad, but it's one of those ones where he thinks he can play at a level, but it's not showing up on the field. Like case in point in New England, up and down a little bit. Hey, Mike, that's my Bears fan, actually.
Oh,
I haven't seen Mike in the chat in a while. How you been, Mike? Bears been making moves.
Yeah. Yeah, but they finished with the worst record in the NFL last year. Like I said, I'm tired of everybody riding their dicks. I really am.
I mean, you got to give credit though; they're making the right moves so far.
Yeah, so far. I just, you know what? I'll believe it when I see it, just because it was like the Browns. What was it, 3 years ago or something, when they signed OBJ, they signed Amari Cooper. Everybody's just riding their dicks, and I get so tired of it.
I was even like, yo, as a Ravens fan, I was like, that's the best team in the NFL by far most talented. But of course, all of it hinged on the quarterback, and their quarterback was throwing INTs like he was putting commercials out.
The one thing that I do like the Bears, what the Bears did, is they didn't go out and just toss meaningless money around. I
expected them to, and they did pretty well.
Because I expected to. I have the list right here. I expect them, let's see, the top two are Lamar and Geno, but I expect them to go Javon Hargrave, Jesse Bates, Jamel Dean, just read
down the list. Yeah, just throwing like Jacksonville did last year.
Yeah, and good thing they didn't do that because you don't win Super Bowls off of free agency; you win them off of draft.
And like one of their best ones, that TJ Edwards signing, 3 years, 19 million. He was one of the best players for the Eagles last year on that Super Bowl run.
Yeah, off-ball linebacker, and they got two of them
Exactly.
now, and they're young.
Exactly.
They're both young.
TJ Edwards basically was one of the best. I'm like looking here at NFL, was one of the best run stuffing linebackers in the NFL last year. And then Tremaine Edmonds was one of the best pass coverage linebackers. So they literally went and got their pass coverage guy and their run guy for that defense. Like,
Yeah.
you can't argue with that.
Yeah, no. But anyways, I think I'm about ready to hop off unless you got anything you need.
Not like concrete, man. Yeah, I'm just shooting the breeze basically about all this stuff. There's just so much going on in the NFL.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. They made it a year-long spectacle. Imagine doing this in the 80s.
Exactly, man. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out how to get to Kansas City.
I still want to do the draft day deal, so let me know if you're still down.
Oh yeah, oh dude, trust me, I am doing draft day stream. That's actually, I think my very first stream was my draft day. We could definitely. How many people can you have in StreamYard, like just talking, like voice chat?
I think too many, actually. I think you can have way too many talking. Yeah, I think you can have like 10.
Yeah, because like I said, I know I have at least one Green Bay fan that would probably come in. If not, some of the people that from my chat. I know I got a Buffalo guy that's joined me on Discord before it as well.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. So,
but yeah, I'll let you get off here, man. I know you probably had a long day at work.
Yeah, as per usual, but you too. But anyways, yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, obviously, and follow Levi's page. I don't know why your name's not up there anymore. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's weird. It like disappeared. I could care less, man. We're starting here on your channel, so yep. Seahawks Talk. Joe and Levi on Seahawks Talk FMPM.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to come up with some little jingle. You too, man. It was always fun.
Yeah, we're planning on doing it next Monday, so don't forget to tune back in on Monday.
But real quick before we hop off, Mike, Aaron Rodgers, it's going to happen post-June. Everything's just smoke and mirrors. They've got that deal done. It's just about cap numbers.
And we talked a bunch about it, so you can rewatch it too, obviously. Yeah. It'll be on both of our channels, I think, right? So
yeah, I think we talked about a little. Yeah, I did make sure that it showed earlier before we started that it was posting to my channel. I'm going to double real quick. Yep, it's already live on my channel. So yeah, you can watch it live on my channel, Mike, or over here on Joe's channel.
All right. Well, hey man, have a good week. I look forward to talking to you next Monday.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, take it easy.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye.